Yo, what's good, everybody? Show you guys this card I showed on my oh, it's not gonna pop up. That's a sticker from 1981 PSA 10. So showed that on my card channel, Hardcore Card Collecting. You guys check that out or whatever. But that was pretty cool. The camera didn't do us justice. I got my backdrop on. But salute everybody. Hopefully you guys doing good. Got kind of three main topics I want to talk about today. Kind of some of the coaching stuff going on today. Had a chance to work from home because it's cold out where I'm at. So I want to do a quick video for you guys. But yeah, I want to talk about some of the coaches' updates, as well as, of course, the title of the video, which is "What is the Patriot Way?" So kind of want to break down a few things on that. Maybe if, like, my thinking on that is like maybe if we can think like the Patriots, going back, looking at their history, maybe we can have some idea of maybe what the Patriots are looking for, and maybe what Tom Brady is looking for. Not what the Patriots are looking for, but use the Patriots' history, because that probably has an influence on maybe what we'll be looking at for a coach and what Tom Brady wants in this team. So make sure you guys kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Maybe you guys have some good input on top of what I was kind of thinking. The main question on that one is just what is the Patriot Way? And then lastly, just some things, I've talked about a little bit about Gruden, the transition from Oakland to Vegas. A few key points I want to touch on pretty quick on that, and kind of see what you guys are thinking as well, and if you guys remember some of this. So yeah, so appreciate all you guys. Get in the chat. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe. Appreciate it. Raider Paul, what up? He said, Raiders, salute, man. Hope you're doing good, bro. Sam Tanka, salute to you as well. Thanks for popping in. Gord Paterson, hope you're doing good, brother. Good to see you in here. Thank you all you guys, man. Jackson Dart or Justin Field is where I sit. I like that, man. Jackson Dart's an interesting one, to be honest with you, bro. That's something we got to think about is with whatever coach we get, what's going to be the best scenario for QB ? Whoever that QB is. So if you go old school, like a Gruden, Pete Carroll, or even if we're a Belichick, like which of those guys is going to be best for what style QB? And then if you go like up and comer with a Ben Johnson or something like that, what's going to be the best scenario for that kind of coach? So a lot of question marks, as the pieces fall. We'll see kind of how they piece this thing together. But that's one of the reasons, to be honest with you, why I want to go back and look at some of the Patriots history. Hopefully I can do somewhat of an okay job. It is hard to kind of analyze it, if I'm being honest with you guys, but that's why I want your opinions as well. As we look at the Patriot Way, is there like tea leaves that we can all look at with the Patriots to try to understand what they did over the years, how they were successful, and what Tom Brady's going to be looking for. So, but with Jackson Dart, the one thing I'll say on him, that's probably like my QB I'm leaning to the most in this draft. I was talking to Jimmy Guns last night. He had some great things to say about it as well. I personally don't think Jackson Dart is going to fall to the second round, guys. I really don't. So if you want a Jackson Dart, you're probably gonna have to pull the trigger earlier than you want to. If we look at, Tankathon, I should pull that up here real quick, because it is it's a great topic. I'm glad you brought that up too, because you got to think, there's so many things that go into play besides our coach and our GM and stuff like that, right? So you really have to kind of marinate on where the Raiders are picking, and let me fix that. Where the Raiders are picking in the draft, and where you're going to have to pull the trigger. So let's just look at like QB needy teams here real quick. All right, you got Titans at number 1. They need a quarterback. Cleveland, they're going to need a quarterback with Deshaun Watson being hurt again towards Achilles ankle. Sure, most of you guys probably know that. But yeah, Deshaun Watson hurt his ankle again, so he's got to get ankle surgery. Talk about a guaranteed contract. And Deshaun Watson, dude, man, Cleveland is eating a lot of money from that deal. Giants, they need a quarterback. Patriots, I'd say no. Jacksonville, no. But I guess you never know if a quarterback fell to them. If they wanted to trade Trevor Lawrence, there could be that possibility. And then there's the Raiders. Obviously, we need a quarterback. The New York Jets, they need a quarterback, I would say, even if they are sticking with Rodgers for another year or if Rodgers plays another year. Panthers, I'd say no, just because they have Bryce Young. But, Saints, they could need a quarterback right here. The Bears, no. The Niners, I'll say no. Niners are going to have to give Brock Purdy a contract. That's going to be an interesting one to see what kind of contract Brock Purdy gets. The Cowboys, that's kind of one of my topics as we talk about the coaches. The Cowboys could be an interesting, sneaky one that might end up getting a quarterback if they were to trade Dak Prescott. So we'll get into that coming up here. The Dolphins, I mean, Tua has been pretty good, but he struggled from those concussions. I don't think they would. Colts, I'll say no. Falcons, no. Cardinals, no, unless they were to move on or trade Kyler Murray, but I don't think they're going to do that. Bengals, obviously no. Seahawks, question mark. Actually, Seahawks could. So that's kind of the top 20. If we were to go back through it, just kind of, maybe we should start from the beginning. So before the Raiders pick, I'm going to say 3 teams definitely need quarterbacks. Could they pick somebody else that's not a quarterback? The Titans, the Browns, and the Giants. Yeah, they could go a different direction, but there is at least 3 teams that are probably going to need a quarterback. And then Raiders pick number 4. I mean, depending on how the Underwear Olympics goes with the NFL Combine, we could see some guys move up. We could see Milroe move up. We could see Jackson Dart move up. I mean, it could be possible 3 quarterbacks are taken before the Raiders even pick at 6. That's if we stay put. If we were to trade back or something, the teams that pick behind us, so three before us, they need quarterbacks. And then behind us, we'll go to maybe pick 15 or something. We got the Jets, 1. Saints, I'll say 2. Cowboys, I'm going to say 3. At least 3. So if we were to trade back, there could be 3 teams within this range from pick 7. I'll go to at least 12 that could pick a quarterback. So say if you were to trade with the Falcons or something, or trade back, or I don't know, it's possible that, if you think Jackson Dart's going to fall to you, he might get picked up by one of these other teams, man. So then the question becomes, do you pull the trigger on Jackson Dart early if Jackson Dart's available at number 6? I'm not saying I exactly have the answer right now, but it's a very interesting and important question I think we all have to answer as Raider fans. If you have a QB that you like, I know I forget who it was. One of the guys was talking about Will Howard. He's looking, not too bad. But like if there's a QB you guys like in this draft, I don't know who's going to be available the second round. So it's an extremely hard question to answer, but it's definitely something to digest for all of us. All right, we'll pull up in here. Gabriel Ramirez, what up, big dog? Hope you're doing good, bro. Ben Johnson, Hendon Hooker. That's one of the things as I get in the chat or my notes here, I want to talk about a little bit more of the Ben Johnson, Hendon Hooker thing. Raider Paul said no to Hooker. Raider Paul, you don't know what you're talking about, bro. We're getting Hooker. I'd take Hooker all day long, bro. All right, Gabriel said, Harker Raider, if you can give us, in your opinion, who's your top 5 head coaching candidates, top 5 GMs, and your top 5 draft class prospects. I'd have to do a little bit more work just because I wanted to deep dive into a few other things, but I like those topics for sure. I haven't done too much on GMs. I probably got 3 to 5 on the coaches, and top 5 GMs. I probably have like 1, maybe 2. And I'm always bad with names if I don't like write it down or pull it up. So I kind of mess that up sometimes. We have to trade up to get our guy hardcore. Very true. And so there's a lot of different scenarios. That's kind of one of the things I want to talk about. Take Tom Brady out of history books. Patriot Way sucks. Brady is what made them. We're going to talk about it, bro. I'm not saying you're wrong, but we're going to talk. I want to save some of that for when we get into that. So, but yeah, no, I like your comment. Just, keep it at the back of your mind so you can kind of post some thoughts as we get into that. So, Raider Way has been dead for 40 years. Shout out to you, Dixon, man. Raider Way died with Al Davis. Well, Al Davis, that was like 2011. So that's like, I don't know, was that 15 years or something? Browns looking. and it getting out of his contract, he was wearing a protective boot for his injury when he's injured it again. Story out there. Oh yeah. Thanks for pointing that out, Gord. I appreciate that. Thanks for the help, man. Yeah, there was something. You're right. I briefly heard something about that, but they're looking into if like they can get out of his contract. I think the NFL wants out of that contract, and I think the NFL is probably going to push the Browns out of the Deshaun Watson contract. And if it was like a non-football injury, then they could have an out on it. So, and Deshaun Watson's made so much money. It's not like that dude even needs to play again. He can, spend his time at the massage parlors or whatever the hell that dude was doing, man. Brady getting our QB, watching C. Dixon said Jackson Dart. I like it, bro. Like it. Hopefully you're doing good. Dixon, is that a picture of you, bro? You look like you're stacked, man. Freaking crushing heads with your biceps. For months I've talked about Dart. Kid is talented. I like it, bro. I do. I like it, man, for sure. Howard, good too. Appreciate that. Finish getting the comments there. Thanks everybody pulling up. Since Brady is whispering in Al Davis' ear all the time, he might suggest a decent barber. Nice. Howard's receivers are superstars to make him look better than what he is. I could see that. I could. I like Hooker. If we miss out on QB, I'll give Lions a 4th for him. He's got 2 years left on the contract. He wasn't first round pick, so you don't have a 5th-year option. So you got to consider 2 years left on the contract before you'd have to give him a contract if he worked out or whatever. 4th, I don't know if you may have to do something more than a 4th, maybe a 4th and a player or something. So that's why I've offered a 2nd. I'm probably a little rich on him just because I really like Hendon Hooker, but a 4th may not get it done, I guess is my point. But I like it. But when Al Davis was older, he was the same old Al Davis. Yeah, for sure. Bro, is that you that talked? Bro, is that all you talk about, Hendon Hooker? 815 Chatter Boy. All right, we get into some stuff. We'll talk Davis like character from the movie Dumb and Dumber, straight up. Bruce said, shout out to Bruce said, are there any QBs, a lot of college stats like Bo Nix who might work out? I'm gonna have to do a little more research on some of the stats. I've been trying to wrap my head around the coaching thing, but it all ties together because you got to get a coach and a scheme and everything that fits together. So, normally in the draft, I've tried to like not go for the most hyped up guys. I try to find some of the sleeper quarterbacks and stuff. So, and one quick thing on the Hendon Hooker, look, if Raiders would have drafted Hendon Hooker, like I said from the get-go, 2 years ago when I went nuts during the freaking that draft, we wouldn't even be in this situation, guys. So people can clown on me about Hendon Hooker and all that, but we're in a situation that if Raiders had played their cards differently, and it wouldn't have been like you'd have to trade the farm at the time to move up to get Hendon Hooker before the 3rd round. Remember, Hendon Hooker went like second or in the 3rd round, but a 2nd pick overall in the 3rd round, and then we picked like 2 picks later. We got Byron Young, who's not even on the Raiders, with that 3rd round pick. And, so you got a guy that's not even on the team. So what, to get ahead of the Lions at the time, you would have had to trade maybe like that 3rd round pick and maybe a 5th or something. I mean, come on, so, you can give me a hard time all you want, and that's fine, dude. I'll take it. But nevertheless, we're in this situation, and if Hendon Hooker comes on the scene and balls out, then you're going to look like the jackass, and I'm going to look like the guy that nobody ever fucking listened to. So it's fun. It's funny to me. But Jimmy Guns, what up, bro? He said almost home. Wife there had to work. Argument. Oh, had a work argument. Pray for me. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. I'll pray for you, Jimmy. Hang in there, bro. I love you, man. Hardcore. I'm doing inventories and the Commanders 2 hours late, which is why I'm on here. What are you doing? Inventories and Commanders 2 hours. Oh, nice. Hooker turned 27 today. Happy birthday, Hendon Hooker, man. People that clown you for one Hendon Hooker, they're stupid. They don't know what they don't know football. The Raiders, they need a QB. Will get picky. That's the way I feel. Jackson Dart. Yeah, and Jackson Dart might be that sleeper guy. So a lot of the hyped up guys, we're going to go through it when we go through. One of the things we're going to do on the Patriots, we're going to look at the Patriots draft going pretty far back, and we're going to see what the heck they did, But anyway, so all right, enough of that. All right, the coaching candidates and the possibilities. All right, let's start out with the Cowboys. Obviously, most of you probably know the Cowboys just fired Mike McCarthy. So that brings up a question. Would you guys want or consider Mike McCarthy to be a coach for the Raiders? I'm going to say no. I don't want Mike McCarthy. I think he's a good coach. I don't know that he's a good fit for the Raiders. I think he'd probably, if I'm just being honest with you guys, I think Mike McCarthy would be a really good fit with the Chicago Bears and helping develop Caleb Williams. So, um, you know, be interested to see where Mike McCarthy goes or what he does, but I don't want Mike McCarthy. But that does open up and kind of change some of my thought process, because even though, okay, so there was some news, I think, this weekend that dropped, and it's funny because I talked about it, but I said, I think Deion Sanders is probably who the Raiders want. And there was an article that dropped, I think it was by Vinny B, saying that Deion Sanders camp reached out to the Raiders to possibly be the Raiders' next head coach. And then, Vic Tafer, I think like the next day or something, put out an article, said the Raiders are not interested in Deion Sanders whatsoever. So that's kind of interesting. Getting a little, maybe, like two little snippets there about Deion Sanders wanting to maybe coach the Raiders. But, now that the Cowboys have an opening, I'd be curious if the Cowboys would consider pulling up Deion Sanders. Of course, Deion played for the Cowboys in prime time. I guess my only question, there's two questions. If Deion was the coach for the Cowboys, the first one is him and Jerry Jones going to clash? Because Jerry Jones likes to be in the spotlight, and I think Deion wants to be in the spotlight as well. So that'd be my first question. Can they get along and all that? And then two, how could the Cowboys go and get Shedeur Sanders? Because Deion's not going anywhere where they can't get Shedeur Sanders. So obviously, if the Cowboys were to go and get Shedeur Sanders, they're gonna have to get rid of Dak Prescott, And I know we need a QB. I know last year there's a lot of Raider fans that talked about Dak Prescott and coming to the Raiders. I don't want Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is mediocre. I think Dak Prescott is like a Derek Carr, maybe a tiny bit step above Derek Carr. And my feeling is, if you're going to go and get a Dak Prescott and pay him this kind of money, why don't you just keep freaking Aiden O'Connell? Yeah, Dak's probably a little bit better than Aiden O'Connell, but I think, Aiden O'Connell could develop to be like a Dak Prescott. So here's Dak Prescott's contract. He had got a no trade clause when he signed with the Cowboys. Where was it? Oh, that was the other one. Contract value, so $60 million per year, $240 million total. It's nuts. This guy is not worth 60,000 or 60 mil. If I said thousand, I'm sorry, going too fast. But so 2024, he had 41, no dead money. But if you look at 2025, look at this, dude. Pre-cut 150. It's at least 61. I don't even know the difference between these two, but the Cowboys would have to take like a 60 million cap hit. Damn, that would be rough, bro. Cap number like 90 mil right here. I don't know, man. I think that'd be a hard pill for the Cowboys to swallow. I think Cowboys are kind of stuck in this contract. What do you guys think? Do you think there's a way, because there's a no trade clause, maybe Dak would approve it and go somewhere else? But I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Is there a way that Cowboys could get out of the Dak Prescott, trade him to a team, and then they go move up in the draft and get Shedeur Sanders? I mean, if we go back to Tankathon, we look at these teams that are in here, that are trading. They'd probably have to move up to like at least the top 3 picks. Do you think Dak Prescott would fit for the Titans, the Browns, or the Giants? The Browns, unless they get out of their current contract, I doubt the Browns would get Dak. I doubt Dak would want to go there. Maybe the Titans, maybe the Giants, but I think all those teams would be idiots to trade for Dak Prescott and trade their draft pick away. But what do you guys think? Is that a crazy take? Saying that I don't want Dak Prescott and he's not worth that kind of money and the draft capital. I mean, a first round like that, would that even get the trade done? I don't know. But all I know is Deion Sanders with the Cowboys is interesting to me. But then the question mark would be, how are they going to get Shedeur Sanders? And they obviously have to figure out a way to get out of the Dak Prescott contract or whatever. So, yeah, I'm with you, Sam. Hard no on Dak. He said, I don't even want Shedeur out. Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. Yeah, Hooker fell in the draft only due to injury. Hooker is a good QB. Yeah, so I appreciate it. Yeah, no, you guys got some good stuff. Oh, what up, big dog? Watts Raider. Sorry, bro. He said, "What's up, hardcore?" We are again at the bottom with a whole new staff. I know, bro. Jackson Dart is a good QB with potential. I like it, dude. Shout out to you, Watts. Ain't seen you for a minute, dude. Hopefully doing good out there, bro. If you guys don't know, there's one guy in Raider Nation that should get his flowers, because back when I can't remember what year the draft was, but the year that Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love were in the draft, I was kind of big on Jalen Hurts. So was Watts Raider, but Watts was one of the only Raider fans that I know of that was really big on Jordan Love. And I was unsure about Jordan Love. I'm just being honest and transparent with you guys, but Watts saw something in Jordan Love, and he ended up being right. I forget where Jordan Love got drafted. It was second or third round. If I remember right, I think the Raiders could have drafted him in the second round, but I could be wrong on that. But shout out to Watts Raider. I know, maybe the Packers didn't look that great yesterday or whatever, but Watts Raider totally hit the nail on the head about Jordan Love, because he's a good quarterback. So, appreciate that. You coming on here, Watts Raider, dude. One of the OGs, and got his own channel. As most of you know, helped me and my growth on my channel back in the day. So appreciate that. And Watts has a good football mind. I'm not saying that because he's a friend. That was one of the reasons we would do the group shows together. But he's got a good football mind, and not everybody does. There's a lot of clowns in Raider Nation, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. But Watts definitely has a square head on his shoulders. I always appreciate his honesty and all that. So. All right. That was kind of the Cowboys little spiel. The Bears. Okay. So I'm going to make some people kind of probably not very happy with this, but, and you know what, real quick on the Cowboys, what if the Cowboys push hard for Ben Johnson? What if the Cowboys want Ben Johnson? What if they don't want a Shedeur Sanders? Does Ben Johnson, he's got Jared Goff right now. Does a Ben Johnson scheme fit with a Dak Prescott? Cowboys are an intriguing, Raiders, we're all high on Ben Johnson, but let's be real about this, guys. We might be in second place behind the Cowboys when it comes to Ben Johnson, if we're being real about it. Ben Johnson went to Boston College back in the day, so I don't know if he's got any ties and where he grew up, if it was in Texas or anything, but nevertheless, we could be in competition with the Cowboys. And, if he feels like he can do something with the Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, the Cowboys, they do have a loaded team, if we're being real about it, dude. They have a good team. So from defense to offense, all they really need is a defensive coordinator. But, that's intriguing to me to see what happens with the Cowboys. They are going to throw a wrench, or they just did throw a wrench in everything. And so if Ben Johnson ends up, not being in the running for our Raiders, then what the heck do we do? And that's one of the things I want to get into as we're talking about these coaches, right? We're all excited. I like it. I would like to have a Ben Johnson, but if he's no longer an option, and what if he wants to do like a Caleb Williams and the Bears, coaching position, as opposed to the Raiders or the Cowboys? But you better believe, I bet you the Cowboys, in my opinion, they're probably going to push hard for two coaches. Well, it could be three. It's probably Ben Johnson is probably first for them. Deion Sanders maybe second, and they might even push for Bill Belichick as well. Bill Belichick, you guys got to remember, he's a Bill Parcells protege, came up in the Bill Parcells tree. Bill Parcells went to the Cowboys. I don't know that Bill Belichick wants to ride the coattails of Bill Belichick, because Belichick and Bill Parcells, they were part of the Giants regime back in the day. They moved on to the Patriots. Bill Parcells left the Patriots, went and did the Cowboys thing. And then, and people will be like, I should pull up the soundbite, but people will be like, well, he's already got a contract with UNC. You guys got to remember, Bill Belichick back in the day, before he went to the Patriots, Bill Belichick had backed out of that Jets coaching job. Bill Belichick took the coaching job for the New York Jets, and then a week after he got the Jets coaching job, he backed out and went to the Patriots. So don't think for a second that dude isn't willing to backstab a team or whatever. You know what I mean? So shout out to everybody, Raiders 07, man. We're going to get into that. There's a few things I want to talk about that. Appreciate Raiders 07, one of the OGs in here. Jose, man, salute. He said Pete Carroll, HC, and Sala DC. It's one of the things we get into. Jason down, sorry I'm late. All good, bro. I know I usually don't go live this time of a day. I just had a day where I was like working from home, wanted to drop a video and kind of chop it up with you guys, see how you guys are feeling. And prayers to everybody down in SoCal, dude. LA, man, I know that place got wrecked, man. Watts said Shador probably goes to Titans, Browns, or Giants. Yeah, probably. Yep. Cam Ward is all those same teams. Raider. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there. I might have read it wrong. All right. Nice sweater. Oh, yeah, you like the old school? Yeah, I did this for a reason, bro. I wanted the old school. This is straight up throwback, bro. Look at that. It's got like the stitching, like it's meant to look like rustic. I've had this for a minute. I don't wear it that often because I wanted to stay like want to keep this thing for a long time, bro. This is vintage, man. The old school like logo and shit, man. Yeah, bro. So appreciate all you guys. Much love, man. What said we never drafted QBs. I know, dude. They need to listen to some of us, bro. You've been right more than a lot of people. I'm not trying to float your fucking skirt up or nothing. I'm just being real about it, bro. Always try to be honest. What are your thoughts on Pete Carroll? HC. A lot of Raider fans' arguments are saying Pete is old, but reality he's 72, and I think Belichick's 71. I think Gruden's 61. Ben Johnson don't have a QB coming here. AOC Dak or collab. He's not picking AOC over them. All right. So this is one of the notes I have on my thing. I want to talk about the Pete Carroll thing. Saleh for DC, not head coach. So that's where I'm at, to be honest with you guys. Pete Carroll has more vitality and better health than Reed and Harbaugh, and he's 6 years older. Bears just need an O-line and probably a good play caller. Someone that can help develop Caleb Williams, man. Caleb Williams is going to need, I know he's talented, but he's going to need the right guy to help develop him. Ben Johnson's probably a good fit for Caleb Williams, if we're just being honest, The skill set and the scheme, that might be a question mark, but I think Ben Johnson's the kind of guy that could probably help develop Caleb Williams. All right, so me on the Pete Carroll thing, I don't know, guys. I know he's getting hyped up. One of the things I want to talk about is some stuff as we were leaving Oakland, what the media was doing to our team and John Gruden, Mike Mayock. We'll pull that up here in a little bit, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't want Pete Carroll. I really don't. I know Vinny B and some other guys are hyping up Pete Carroll. I know Pete Carroll is interviewing with the Raiders right now. I would rather go a different direction than a Pete Carroll. It's not that I'm exactly against Pete Carroll, but here's the thing. If you're going to go vintage coach, I'd almost rather go Belichick and, especially John Gruden if you're going to go throwback, So to me, I just feel like even though Pete Carroll was a good coach at one point in time towards the end of his reign with the Seahawks, and maybe it just fizzled out or whatever with the players, but and his message, because sometimes that can happen, especially with some of the hard-nosed coaches or whatever. What I'll say, the positive thing about Pete Carroll, he's built some really great teams, especially Seahawks and the what the hell was the Seahawks name back in the day? No Fly Zone, or no, it was something else. But that Seahawks defense with Richard, not Richard Seymour. God, I'm drawing a blank. But with the announcer for fucking I just saw him, dude. Oh, God, someone help me out. Anyways, Legion of Boom, there we go. Damn, bro, got too many thoughts in my head. But yeah, so the Legion of Boom and all that defense, they were studs, and some of those guys weren't guys that were drafted real high, so he has proven he can develop guys. Can he still do it at this, having as much tread under the tires? Going to be a little bit tough to for me to say that he still can do it or can't do it. If you get like a Pete Carroll, I think you got 2, maybe 3 good years, maybe 4 max. So you're going to have somebody to develop under him, I feel like, and be ready. Do you really want a defensive minded coach? Who's going to be the offensive coordinator? The other positive part, he's very positive. He's a very positive thinking coach. So I think that would be good for the team. The hype, does it build that much hype? I don't know, maybe. But then, like, to me, the other question is like, who's going to be his coaching staff? He does have that pedigree where other coaches would probably want to come learn from him. So him filling out his staff is probably not a difficult thing. Where I do feel like Ben Johnson, it's going to be harder for a new head coach to fill out his staff. Which brings me to something that, I said recently, but I'll say it again. John Gruden recently said, Barstool Sports, he said the hardest thing for like an NFL head coach is filling out their coaching staff, because there's guys you might want, they might be under contract somewhere else, or maybe you just can't get them on your team. So you can be a good play caller, you can have a good like ideology and philosophy about football, but if you can't go out and get your coaches, it's going to be pretty tough for you to have a good winning organization. And if you're getting a bunch of like first time, even if you fill the offensive coordinator position and the defensive coordinator position, then it does make it hard to like find your linebacker coach, your cornerback coach, your running back coach. And if you have to get like all guys aren't proven, then you have this lull period where the coaches are developing and they're making mistakes, and then they may not be setting the players up for success. So the point is, if you don't get a coaching staff that is all working together and maybe with experience, it does make it tough. So that's one of the knocks I would say on Ben Johnson that does worry me a little bit, is who's going to be his coaching staff. With a Pete Carroll, the positive part is it's a lot easier to get some big ticket named guys to help coach the Raiders. So Saleh, like, I'll just tell you guys right now, Robert Saleh or whatever, if the Raiders could freaking get that dude on our team to be our defensive coordinator, no matter who the head coach is, I would love it, dude. I think Saleh is a great defensive minded guy. I like that he's very energetic. I think he's like, the kind of guy you want coaching your defense. So whatever happens, it'd be really nice if the Raiders could get a Saleh. I know the Raiders are interviewing the Lions defensive coordinator as well. Can't remember his name offhand. So that's kind of interesting. But the one thing I'll say about the Lions, look, guys, let's be real about the Lions. They've never won a Super Bowl, guys. Like Ben Johnson and the defensive coordinator for the Lions, they need to be focused on trying to win a fucking Super Bowl, dude. I know I'm not supposed to say the S word, the big game or whatever, but the Lions got to be focused on trying to win a freaking championship for that organization, dude. They have struggled. I forget when it was. I should look it up. But the Lions have never won a Super Bowl. Obviously, we know that. I think it was like 1958 or 1950 something, before the Super Bowl era. Last time, Lions even won a championship. So those fans have been die hard. And you can't tell me, if you're a coach and you're interviewing, even if it's a virtual interview and you're interviewing with these other teams, that it's not going to be a distraction and your head isn't going to be pulled in two different places. They need their head in the game. Now, a strong-minded guy should be able to transition from getting interviewed to then coaching a game. But you got to think about all the aspects when these interviews are going on and you're trying to prepare yourself to win a championship with your organization. You're going to have, a certain feeling from your players, where now your players may not give you 110% because they're like, well, my coach is leaving me. Like players are going to want to give 110%, but I'm telling you, mentally and like in your soul, it will mess with you and make it hard for you to concentrate. So in my opinion, Ben Johnson, the Lions, the defensive coordinator, all of them need to focus on, trying to win a championship. And as us in Raider Nation, hopefully nobody wants the Chiefs to win another Super Bowl, besides maybe Max Crosby or something, telling Mahomes to go win another one. I mean, get my blood boiling with that. But so I would like to see Ben Johnson just focus on trying to win a championship for the damn Lions. Hopefully it's like the Lions Bills Super Bowl coming up here. But that brings me to my other thing with Ben Johnson. What if Ben Johnson doesn't win a championship with the Lions? What if the Lions get really close and then they foobar, they mess it up, and they don't win a championship? If the Lions don't win a championship, how is that going to affect Ben Johnson wanting to be a head coach? Now, if the Lions win a championship, then Ben Johnson can, move on and feel like he completed his mission. But if the Lions don't get this done, right, And, do you think Ben Johnson's going to want to leave, or you think he might run it back with the Lions to try to win a championship with the Lions? It's something I've been thinking about, and I think Ben Johnson might consider running it back with the Lions if they don't get it done. So if you want Ben Johnson, probably the best thing, if you want him to be a head coach and the head coach of the Raiders, I know there's some other factors like some other teams we talked about, but probably the best thing, to be honest with you guys, is for the Lions to win a Super Bowl, because then Ben Johnson can feel like he hit his check mark, finally accomplished his mission, and he's ready to move on. If Lions don't win a Super Bowl, he might want to stay there and run it back. So I know all that was a mouthful, but all right, kind of see what some of you guys are saying here real quick. I'm not going to be able to probably read all the comments, but why is it not moving up? Go back a little bit here. Ben Johnson hired Drake May. Yeah. And that was the other thing I was going to say. Thanks for bringing that up, J-Dog. Hope you're doing good, bro. Patriots just hired Mike Vrabel. So that was kind of one of the last videos. I didn't even mention Vrabel because it looked like it was a lock for the Patriots. So the Patriots are doing a throwback with Vrabel. So Vrabel's out of the mix. Gruden and DC again. Man, dude. Some of this I want to talk about, like the throwback idea. But some I know Raider Nation, they're going to instantly click off or give me the thumbs down as soon as I start talking about it. But let's move into Fresno area. I saw people who wanted Gruden is 50-50. Oh, the people who want Gruden. Yeah. There's some things I want to talk about. Not necessarily because I want to pump them up, but just I want to put some things in perspective. So, because I think there's some stuff we're missing in the story, I don't want DC, that's for sure. He's a good backup. Maybe he could help develop somebody, though. What if he took a cheap contract, the Derek Carr throwback? What if Derek Carr is willing to do what I said years ago and take a cheap contract to come back with the Raiders and retire and compete for, the Raiders to be a quarterback, but he can help develop the next guy to help organization, but he'd have to take a real team-friendly deal, not what he's making right now or anything close, and it's funny. So speaking of players not taking, pay cuts or whatever, obviously, we got, some guys that were former Raiders that are, still flexing on the Raider Nation, this style right here, Devontae Adams and on the, Adams and K show. And he's clowning on how happy he is that he was to the Jets and, but then he's playing golf in Vegas because he can't play golf in New York. So, yeah, Devontae Adams has buyer's remorse. So, and Devontae Adams did say he would not rule out the Raiders to come back. He said, I'll never say never, but it would take a lot to bring back Devontae. You're going to have to get that coaching position locked on. And then if you did want to do the throwback, who would be the best coach or coaching fit scenario? Who would get along with Devontae Adams and the clown ass shit, it's important questions to ask, all right. What is this? D Strange one. All right. Shot to you. Said, there's only winning and losing. Raider Nation needs to understand what winning and it takes to do it is a Patriot. Raider Packers. It's just winning. What Al Davis lived for this team. Yeah. There's I know my title is a little clickbaity, but it's something as we get into, bro, that I just want to analyze it and think about it from afar and see if there's anything we can do to put the pieces together. I'm trying to actually look at it with an open mind, believe it or not. Seahawks suck lately with Carroll. Maybe he lost it. Yeah. Pete Carroll has pulled because proven head coach Ben Johnson is unproven. New HC would be difficult on coaching pool to come with him. Yeah. He said, Lions got players too. Yeah, they do have a lot of good players. Yeah, they do for sure. Ben J, Mike McCarthy. That's it, to be honest. All right. Raider Docs. Hope you're doing good, bro. Pete Carroll will be doing an in-person interview versus Johnson's virtual. I don't think Ben Johnson want to work for Jerry. It could be. A lot of people may not want to work for Jerry. I don't even know if Deion Sanders would want to work for Jerry. But yeah, that's a good point. We need a coach experience to make game time decisions and a winning mentality. Yeah, No, you're right, Raiders. I don't want to gloss over that. You're right. Game time decisions and winning mentality. And that's important, you know? Um, I mean, I do like Gruden, but Gruden did not make the best game time decisions at times. He was way too conservative. And how much that was Derek Carr or there's a lot of other factors, but damn, there were some times where I was disappointed. I'm down with Gruden. I ride with Gru. He said, knowing our luck, Pete Carroll will retire week 3. Fuck, bro. It'd be like that, or it's going to be like some sort of scandal, some sort of massage parlor scandal. You guys remember when Robert Kraft for the Patriots had the massage, happy ending thing, and then it just got completely swept under the rug, like nothing happened, dude. But if it was the Raiders, dude, they would blow that thing up, and they would crucify us, bro. Is there any way to get Tomlin from Pittsburgh? I would get him in a heartbeat. And you know what? Tomlin was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl team that beat us, with the I think it was a defensive backs coach or whatever. But so Mike Tomlin is a John Gruden disciple, is my point. But I like Tomlin. I know he's only won one Super Bowl and hasn't had a losing season, but I think he's a great coach, man. I would take Tomlin. Buccaneers OC. You'd have to trade a lot to get Tomlin, though. I think he just got a contract extension last year or something like that. Ben Johnson is the real reason Lions are good. I think Campbell's kind of dumb. It won't, bro. I know. I'm trying to go back. Mike Tomlin, another good candidate. Tomlin sucks. I don't see Gruden coming back. He's probably not, but there's just a few things I want to visit with it, bro. Tomlin can't win without Big Ben. I'm good. When he gets his team to the playoffs every year. All right, let's see. Raider Drock said DC is garbage. I'm from Fresno. Nice. No more divas. He's washed. No DA. DA can go to hell. Nice, dude. Oh, you guys are pissed off, dude. It's funny. It pisses me off too sometimes, but all right. Good thing this weekend the teams Raiders don't like got eliminated. The Chargers, Broncos, Steelers, Packers, Texans to upset the Chiefs. Yeah, I made I don't know if you guys saw it. You go to my on my channel, go to my community post. I usually don't make a lot of these. I'm gonna show you guys here. Actually, hold on a second. I'm gonna pull it up. Maybe I can share it with you. It's pretty funny, dude. I made a thing that most of you guys should probably know why I made this, but like to where I don't need to explain it. But I am gonna see. Let's see history. Trying to find it. I know how to find. I know how to find it on my phone. I don't know how to find it on. Maybe it's here. No descriptions. Sorry, guys. I don't even know if it matters. I'll just show you on my phone. How about that? So I made this picture of the Chargers because I was pretty hyped up when our rivals lost, the Donkeys and the freaking chokers here. So, all right. I made this barbecue chicken chokers. So you guys remember when Keelan Allen said Raiders are barbecue chicken? I couldn't help it, dude. As soon as the chokers lost, all I could think of is chokers and barbecue chicken. And so that was my little post I made. So I thought that was pretty funny. Like it still makes me laugh. But Raider Critique, what up, big dog? Yo. Fuck the Patriot Way. We're gonna talk about it, man. Salute. Hopefully you're doing good. Thanks for pulling up, man. When I saw that clip of DA sliding his back down, I was like, pause. That was Diva like such a crybaby. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah, so the Donkeys and the chokers lost. So yeah. Donkeys thought they were gonna win that TD. Yeah, man. AFC, every AFC team but the Chiefs were eliminated. Yeah, hopefully the Chiefs lose, dude. All right, so I think that was about it. Why I wanted to cover the coaches. Let's get into this Patriot Way. What is the Patriot Way? Honest question. Some of it's a little difficult for us to stomach. It is for me too. But all right, so here's Tom Brady's Super Bowl. So as we get into what we're going to talk about here, let's keep some of these years in mind, just to because it's easy to kind of lose, like get lost in the sauce kind of thing. As good as the Patriots and Tom Brady was for so long, it seemed like they were always in the running to freaking be in the playoffs or a Super Bowl. So here's their Super Bowl wins: 2001, 2003. Or sorry, here's their Super Bowls total. Okay, every year they went to the Super Bowl, win or loss. So 2001, 2003, 2004, 2007, 2011, 2014, 2016, 2017, 2018, and then 2020 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So all the other Super Bowls was with New England. Their first loss in the Super Bowls with the Giants, 2007, Giants again, 2011, and then Philly, 2017. So it's crazy, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Super Bowls. He won 7 of 10 Super Bowls. So the Patriots were always in the running to be a Super Bowl contender. So then if you like, once you kind of look at that and you analyze that, then you have to kind of think about like, what was it the Patriots did? Okay. So this is the whole point. Where I'm trying to go with this, guys, is to figure out what in the heck the Patriots did, besides obviously they had Tom Brady, that made them so successful and that made them such a force to reckon with. Was it just Tom Brady? Was it stuff they did in the draft? Was it Bill Belichick? And I feel like if we can at least dive a little bit into what the Patriots did in the Patriot Way, maybe there'll be some tea leaves or some tell signs for what Tom Brady would be looking for the Raiders, right? So for me, it was a little tough for me to figure out like how far back to go. One of the things I definitely wanted to look at when I was like thinking about this was the Patriots draft. Like how well did the Patriots really draft, right? Everybody says you have to draft and develop guys and stuff like that. Most of those are pretty Mr. Obvious, answers and, whatever. But how much truth is it that like they just knocked every draft out of the park or whatever, There's a lot of guys throughout the years as we get into this to understand that the Patriots were notorious for trading a player before their contract was up. A lot of guys, or like give them like maybe their first contract, but a lot of guys with the Patriots, they would let a player go before they had to pay a player and get draft capital and draft compensation back or something back, for getting rid of that player. And Tom Brady, at some points, he was like paid pretty good with the Patriots, but it wasn't like Tom Brady had this like Mahomes deal or Dak Prescott deal for, $60 million. I mean, there was at one point, I think it was the highest paid, like 20 something million, but that was like maybe 10 years into Brady's contract with the Patriots. Like a lot of times Brady was not the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. So Brady took a team friendly deal. So part of the Patriot Way is to move on from players before you have to pay them, and it's a shady way to do business. But if you're winning championships and you have one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the NFL, you have to be willing to do that. I'm not saying I like it. I like my Raiders to stay Raiders, but we need to understand is that the Patriot Way, part of that is that you're willing to move on from players before they hit a lull, or whatever. And we have to consider, even if you don't want Max Crosby gone, we're not talking about the Raider way. We're talking about the Patriot Way. The Patriot Way is they're pretty cutthroat, man. They don't really have loyalty for anybody other than maybe Tom Brady over the years. But even that faded at a certain point where Tom Brady moved on, Bill Belichick moved on or whatever. But, if we think about that, I think it's important to understand that Tom Brady might be cutthroat like that as well. The people that did want, I was okay with getting rid of Tom Telesco, but I know there's people out there that did not want to get rid of him. But if you look at like Tom Telesco getting cut and that cutthroat method, that's part of the Patriot Way. That's part of probably who Tom Brady is. So, all right, with that being said, let's get into this draft. stuff from the Patriots, and I'll try to go through it like as quick as I can, guys. But I do think it's important for us to see. And for me, it was like, how far back do we freaking go? You know what I mean? I mean, like, are we going back to just when Tom Brady was picked, or do we need to go back further? And for me, like, I kept going back, and I'm like, man, and I'm gonna miss guys going through here. There's probably gonna be some guys you guys might recognize, like, oh, that guy was good, and maybe I miss him. I'm going to go back to 1993. This is the Patriots draft going back to 1993. And I'm going to do that for two reasons. One, that's when they got Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe was a really good quarterback. He was drafted in the first round and first pick overall. So 1993, the Patriots get Drew Bledsoe, and then they got this guy in the 8th round. Back then, they had 8 rounds, Troy Brown. Troy Brown ends up winning, I think it was 3 championships, 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots. But this is back in 93. The Patriots were not a good organization back in 93 when they drafted this wide receiver right here, Troy Brown and Drew Bledsoe. Okay. And then we'll go into 94. And I'm just trying to hit the big like ticket names, but there could be like people I'm missing. Like I said, 1994, this is where the Patriots get Willie McGinnis. 1994, Willie McGinnis ended up being a really good linebacker for the Patriots. I believe he was there for 2 or 3 Super Bowls or something, was with them for a while. But when they drafted McGinnis, think about it. McGinnis drafted in 94. At the rise of the Patriots and Tom Brady was the year like 2000, 2001. So you're talking about like at least 6-7 years of development. And yeah, Willie McGinnis was a first round draft pick, but and some of these other guys, I don't even remember these other guys, but Willie McGinnis is one that obviously stands out. But he was with the team for a while. I know the Patriots went to 2 Super Bowls back in the day with Bill Parcells. I forget what year that was. Maybe that was 96, I feel like, or something, 95, 96. But, the Patriots, won 1 Super Bowl, and then they lost to the Packers and Brett Favre. So they did win 1 Super Bowl and make another appearance before Tom Brady was on there. So the Patriots were building something pretty good. Okay. And then we get into right here, 95 draft, Curtis Martin, Hall of Fame, running back, really good running back. Was at the Patriots. I know he was with the Jets for a while, and I forget where else he played. And then Ty Law. Ty Law, if you guys remember, was one of the best defensive backs back in the day. So right there, 1995. But again, Ty Law was also part of the rise of Tom Brady. Okay. This is years before really the Brady run, Then we get a 96. There's not a whole lot of guys in here that I seen that I recognized. Teddy Bruschi in the 3rd round. That was one of the few guys I seen. 1996, the Patriots, Teddy Bruschi. He was a good linebacker, announcer now. But, again, we're still years before the Tom Brady era. 97, I don't recognize any of these guys. I could be wrong. Maybe some of these guys turned out to be good. Chris Canty, Brandon Mitchell, Cedric Shaw. I feel like the Shaw dude was one I recognize, but maybe not. Chris Carter, Damian Denson, Ed Ellis, Vernon Crawford, Tony Gator, Scott. I mean, none of those guys were that I remember were like, turned out to be superstars. Maybe I'm wrong. 1998 draft, Robert Everett. Oh, come on, don't do that. Tariq Jones, Tony Simmons, Rod, Chris Floyd, Greg. I mean, I'm not even going to go through all of them. I don't recognize any of those names. Maybe I'm missing some. 1999 draft. Damon Woody, Andy linebacker, Katz Morrow, Kevin Falk, Tony George, Derek Fletcher. And there's going to be a point to all this. Be patient with me. Michael Bishop, Sean Morey. Don't recognize any of those names. Here's year 2000, obviously the Tom Brady draft. But before they drafted him, they got a guard, Adrian Clem, J.R. Redmond, Greg Randall, tackle, Dave Stiletsky, Jeff Marriott, Antoine Harris, defensive back, Tom Brady, 199th pick overall in the 6th round, David Nugent, Casey Tidesdale, Patrick Pass. I mean, besides Tom Brady, I don't recognize any of those guys. 2001, Richard Seymour, they got in the 1st round, pick 6. So I think they might have traded a pick or something. Or maybe that's because they didn't do good the first year with Brady was drafted. Matt Light, Brock Williams, Keontae Jones, Jared Holloway, Hamik Akbar. That name sounds a little bit familiar. Leonard Myers, TJ Turner, linebacker, 2001. I don't recognize any of those names. Again, if you guys recognize somebody that was a stud that I'm missing out on, let me know. Daniel Grant, Deion Branch. I do remember Deion Branch. He was pretty good with them for a while. I think he won a few Super Bowls with them. Wide receiver, Rahan Davey, Jarvis Green. That name kind of sounds familiar. David Givens. 2003 draft for the Patriots. Ty Warren, Eugene Wilson, Bethel Johnson, Dan Klecko. That name kind of sounded a little familiar. Defense tackle. Sante Samuel. Oh, I should have highlighted that one. I do remember Sante Samuel, defensive back. Dan Copeland. Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator for the Commanders, possibly, in the head coach running or whatever. Offensive coordinator the Raiders wanted. But he got drafted in the 6th round by the Patriots. I didn't even know that. That's pretty funny. He didn't play hardly any games. It was like one game, one completion, 17 yards. Spencer Need, Tully Benton Can, Ethan Kelly. This is the beginning. This is 2003, guys. This is the beginning of the Tom Brady era. And as we're going through this, hopefully you're seeing a point of everybody says the Raiders can't draft. Like, how the hell have the Patriots done as good as they've done at this point in Tom Brady's career? Vince Wilfork. Oh, I should have highlighted that one. I do remember Vince Wilfork. A lot of these guys, I honestly don't even freaking remember being studs or whatever. Ben Watson, Marquise Hill, Gus Scott, Dexter Reed, Cedric Combs, PK Sam, Christian Morton. And maybe my memory is just passing me by because I'm getting old and I'm not, remembering some of these guys that were good possibly back then. But everybody says you have to draft guys, and I'm looking at their draft and I'm like, dude, yeah, they hit on some guys here and there, but a lot of times they weren't getting superstars, they developed guys, man. I mean, but you'll see. We'll keep going through it. 2005, Logan Mankins, Ellis Hobbs. I think I remember him. Nick Kenzor, James Sanders, Ryan Clayridge, Matt Castle, Andy Stokes. So we're hitting the kind of the middle to I wouldn't say peak of the Tom Brady era, but definitely Tom Brady was, turned out to be pretty good. 2006 draft, Maroney, Jackson Thomas, Mills, Gukowski. He was a good kicker. Calican, McKinney, Dan Stevenson, Smith, Willie Andrews. I mean, is it just me, or are you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Brandon Mayweather, Karen Brown, Clint Oldenburg, Justin Rogers, Mike Richards, Corey Hillard. I mean, none of those guys, not like superstars, not for the Tom Brady to be going to the championship games and to be winning championships. So how the hell did they do it? Jared Mayo, I do remember him. He was pretty good. I should have highlighted him. Terrence Wheatley, Crable, Kevin O'Connell, Jonathan Wilhite, Matthew Slater, Bo Rudd. 2009. Here's where they get Julian Edelman. You guys remember when Julian Edelman was in the draft and everybody's like, man, Julian Edelman, you got to draft that guy in the 1st round. Julian Edelman turned out to be a freaking rock star wide receiver. Myron Pryor, Jake Ingram, George Busey, Brandon Tate, Darius Butler. Are you guys seeing a pretty common theme here? Or is it just me? 2010, Aaron Hernandez. We all know what happened with that. They got Rob Gronkowski, Devin McCourty. Devin McCourty drafted in the 1st round, best player available at the time probably, and turned out to be pretty good for the Patriots. They got Rob Gronkowski, stud tight end, and Aaron Hernandez, who was a good tight end before that whole thing popped off and this criminal thing. But they drafted 2 tight ends in that draft. Look at that. They had 3 second-round picks. That had to have been because they were trading guys away. But I don't remember Brandon Spikes, Jermaine Cunningham, if they end up being anything worth a hoot. 2011, Nate Solder, tackle, Dowling, Byrne, Stephen Ridley, Matt Mallett, Marcus Cannon, Lee Smith. I mean, anybody? Chandler Jones, we all know about Chandler Jones. Dude went off the deep end. Dante Hightower, should have highlighted him. He ended up being pretty good. Wilson, Beckett. I mean, don't really recognize anybody else in that. 2013 at the really kind of the peak, Tom Brady hitting his stride, all these years doing a good job. Logan Ryan, Duron Harmon, third round. So look at all these. They got 2 picks, second round, 2 picks, third round. That's probably because they're getting comp picks because they're trading, getting rid of guys that they had traded to other teams. I didn't have the time to do the full history of how they got all these picks, but it's probably getting comp picks for getting rid of guys. They got Jimmy Garoppolo in the second round. Probably a lot of controversy there with having Tom Brady, 2014. All right. And then we'll get into 2015. A few names in here. Trey Flowers. Remember him. Shaq Mason. Remember him. Joe Cordona. I think that was one. Other than that, don't really remember too much. Anybody in 2016? Jacoby Brissett, but backup quarterback. I don't know. Malcolm Mitchell. I don't know. I don't like none of these guys, man. So here's the end of the Brady era with the Patriots winding down. 2017, Derek Rivers, Antonio Garcia. So, I mean, their drafts, if you were to grade their drafts, they're hitting on some guys here and there. But a lot of times, a lot of these guys, it's not like they're hitting the drafts out of the park. They're just not, guys. I mean, if I'm being real about it, 2019, N'Keal Harry, I thought he was going to be good. Damian Harris, running back, Jared Stidham in the 2019 draft. And then, Brady gone, and the Patriots get Mac Jones in the first round, pick 15 overall in 2021. So I know that was long-winded. I apologize, guys. But you seriously look at it. Would you say when you look at those drafts, would you say all those drafts were like a grade A draft? Most of them, on the outside, without doing more research, looked like C drafts. Maybe a B draft at times. None of those drafts that I look at, there was maybe a couple that they got like some superstars out of, but it was like this, guys. Their drafts, they were lucky to get one superstar out of that draft. Sometimes they'd get like 2 superstars. As I was looking at it, almost every draft going back, the build up to the Brady era, it wasn't like they drafted somebody and, was a day one like superstar. They developed guys to be superstars, and then they traded the superstars away, and, it's hard for me to analyze to some degree, because to some degree I'm like, well, how much of it was the players? How much of it was coaching? How much of it was Tom Brady? Obviously, it's a mixture of everything. But if you look at this analytically and you're like, try to analyze it from an outer perspective, we got to be honest with ourselves. And none of those drafts were like super all-star drafts. They had a couple really good ones. Other than that, it was like hit and miss a lot of those years. But somehow the Patriots always had a really good team. So then I think that's where if we're fair about it, the Patriot Way is really about development. It's about getting guys that aren't your big ticket name items, and they developed guys. They had to have. There's no way they could win those Super Bowls. It wasn't just Tom Brady, right? And I know Belichick didn't do anything without Tom Brady, and that's a fair argument. I'm not disregarding that argument at all. But if you look at it, I would say the Patriot Way is definitely getting rid of your studs before you give them a big like contract and try to get draft compensation and have good coaches in place that can develop that talent to replace them. And I don't exactly like that, because I think that is a shady way to do business. I understand you can't pay everybody, but if we look at this and you try to think about it, what coach is going to have that same philosophy as a Tom Brady? Because this is where I want to get to. I'm trying my best, because I'm not a Patriot. I don't like the Patriot Way. I'm a Raider. I'm a Raider fan, hardcore Raider, right? Hardcore Raider fan. And I want to look at it from a perspective that I can try to my best to understand what Tom Brady's going to be looking for. And Tom Brady is going to want to be looking for, in my opinion, a cutthroat coach that is willing to do some of those similar things. Like the development of players is good, but not just the development. I think Tom Brady's going to want a coach in place that's willing to cut bait with players and move on. And don't get me wrong, the Patriots did sign some guys here and there. They might bring in, you guys remember Darrelle Reeves Island. They might bring him in for a year or two, but but then they'll also cut bait with him, and then they brought him back or whatever for like a year or so, and they might bring in a Randy Moss. But it was rare, guys. It really was, where the Patriots, they might bring in one or two like stars here and there, but a lot of times it wasn't like the Patriots were going to do that. So, and the funny thing is, if you remember, a lot of these players that were like that, the Patriots would get rid of or trade, they would move on and they wouldn't do shit for their other teams, man. They would move on and they go to the other team, and then they wouldn't do very good for their other team. I don't want to clown on Richard Seymour necessarily, but Richard Seymour, he was a former Patriot. When he came to the Raiders, he was not the same Richard Seymour that he was for the Patriots. And the Patriots are willing to move on. And I forget what we traded for Richard Seymour, but we traded a lot for Richard Seymour. And I know he's a part owner and stuff, so I kind of respect that. But at the same time, I don't think we got our money's worth or what we traded for Richard Seymour. We got a washed up Richard Seymour. And the Patriots did that same scenario time and time again. But yet Brady was able to still win 6 championships with the Patriots and go to 9 Super Bowls, or maybe it was 8. I think it was 9 Super Bowls with the Patriots and win 6 of them, So, maybe I'm crazy, but when I went through their draft history, honestly, I thought I was going to see a lot more big ticket items. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's kind of go with what you guys are kind of thinking. What is it? Black? James Furpo, shout out, bro. Did it freeze on me? All right, here we go. All right, hold on. Let's see what you guys saying about this. And then we'll get into kind of the last topic, which is kind of Gruden and some of the past Oakland to Vegas transition and some things I want to talk about. All right. All right, there we go. I know we had that one. That one. Yeah, appreciate that. All right. They don't call Chargers choke balls Chargers for any reason. Nice. 2 down, 1 to go. What'd I miss? Did some news drop? Talking about coaches or something? They got I didn't pick Vrabel, McDaniel's side bitch. Nice. So they can come take a seat on the couch. I'm not passing them the blunt. Nice. Oh yeah. All right. He said on break, stop by to yell Raiders. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. All right. Watch Raiders said they built a good defense and they had a scheme that used multiple tight end and running the ball. Brady was the PG of the offense. PG. PG. I should know this. PG. Play caller? No. You mean like game manager of the offense? Like the offensive coordinator or something? But no, I agree with that. And I mean, one of the things, Watts, to your point, I was thinking about this weekend, everybody's like big on offenses and everybody has gotten to a point where they almost say defense don't win championships. But I'm telling you, almost all the teams that were dominant this weekend had a really good defense, man. Really good defense. I think like the Texans stepped up. Texans freaking just annihilated the chokers, bro. And I think that a lot of that was their defense. So yeah, to your point, you're right. They did have good defenses over the years. Yeah. And, to the point where Tom Brady didn't always have to be great, to be honest. I mean, there was times he was, but he just had to be like a game manager kind of deal. That's what I'm saying. Trade Max Crosby. You got everybody up in here. Appreciate that. Raider critique. Much love, bro. All right. Revolving door. Screen is black. Oh, refresh it. Oh, damn. Did I fuck that whole segment up? That's going to suck if you guys ain't going to see any of that. They were a sorry team, but they developed the draft picks. Yeah, they had to have, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Oops, sorry. They had to have been developing in their guys, man. That's the only way. Break over later. Later, James. Appreciate it, bro. I know it took me a while to go through their draft. I'd go back freaking 30 years or whatever the hell it was. Patriots probably gonna do like the Chiefs with the NFL owner like Rogers, Goodell, and the refs. Nice. Yeah, probably sell out to Taylor Swift or something. Kevin O'Connell is current head coach of the Vikings. He was drafted by the Patriots as a QB. Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that. Ballmer. Yeah, cheating scripts back screen. They also acquired free agents, kept players that developed. At times, you're right, but if the players got too valuable, where they couldn't either afford to pay him or whatever, they were willing to move on from him. But yeah, past drafts, including Brady draft 2000, 2001, 03, 05, 09, 10, 11, 12. Josh McDaniel. The Patriot Way is Bill Belichick, not Brady. Can we keep saying that? Yeah, I mean, I did think about that. I'm like, well, maybe this isn't fair to Tom Brady, but man, I think there's something to this. I mean, I'm not trying to reach. I know some people probably think I am. You know, if you're with an organization for that long and you see what made them successful, you're going to naturally like tend to be more of that, you know, like the apple don't fall far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it correlates. I think it does, man. I really do. I think it does. I know you're probably saying that because you don't want to rebuild and you don't want us to get rid of like Max or some of our players. So I feel you on that. But I'm telling you, I think he's going to have some things to say with the Raiders, and some of the Patriot tendencies are probably going to come out. And it could work, but it could be ugly for a while, bro. The Raiders traded the first round draft choice 2011. In the 2011 draft for Richard Seymour. Oh, appreciate that. Yeah. So Richard Seymour, you remember that trade? No segment was good. Was black for me. What? Segment was good or wasn't good? Was black for you? Oh, was not. Damn. Well, that sucks. Maybe there's some sort of thing that pops up, but well, I was pulling it up and trying to go through the draft, but I can't do it again. But nevertheless, you can go back, you can look at the Patriots history, and you can see if like I'm crazy. I was on the other page, so I couldn't see it, but J-Dog said it was fine. Oh, it was good. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. So what happens when I'm rolling solo and I got a lot of things, I'm trying my best to multitask here. So appreciate that. All right. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe J-Dog is right, dude. Maybe the Patriot Way has nothing to do with the Raiders. There could be some tendencies. That was the word I was looking for. There could be some tendencies with what the Patriots did through that time that Tom Brady might want to implement. And so then my question would be, of all these coaches, what coaches are willing to do something similar? It's some of this is hard for me to fathom and like put my head around it. Cause for me, like I'm being real with you guys, like, yeah, I want to keep our stars. I want to keep a Josh Jacobs. I want to keep, a freaking Max Crosby, I do. I don't want to trade him to get draft compensation, but that's where I'm at. But maybe what's best for the team is to do like the Patriot Way and trade your guys so you get draft capital or you get something back and you use that down the road for helping develop and but the other part of this is you have to have a coaching staff, a really good coaching staff that can develop these guys, as time goes on. And then, so to me, it's complicated. And looking at it, like some of these guys may have been with the team 3, 4, 5 years, sometimes longer, before you really saw the Patriots kind of getting back what they put into some of these players. Some of these players were kept on the back burner. It wasn't like some of these guys may not been like day one studs. It took a while for some of these guys. So it was a slow process, And so going back to the head coach and like the philosophy and some of this more than just the X's and O's and scheme, what head coach is going to fit some of those tendencies or that philosophy more than other guys? Is it John Gruden? Is it Bill Belichick? Obviously he would. He was the one running the ship over there. Is it Pete Carroll? Is it Ben Johnson? I mean, there's a lot of questions that I'm not even saying I have the answer to, but you look at maybe the Seahawks did kind of similar. The Legion of Boom, that's kind of how they built the Legion of Boom, dude. I'd have to go through their, history and see when the guys were drafted, I'm pretty sure a lot of those guys weren't like first overall, drafted in the first round. A lot of them were, I think, were in the mid-tier rounds, So, I don't know, it's hard for me to analyze. I'm trying my best to think the way Brady and the Patriots think, and it's hard because, like, part of me, like, I don't think that way. So, for me, as we kind of transition this, I do want to freaking talk about John Gruden. I'm not saying John Gruden would be a fit for Tom Brady in the Patriot way. I think John Gruden is a great fit for the Raider way. Not because he's the best play caller or the best head coach or building a team. Shit, I don't know. Obviously not drafting, but some things I want to talk about with John Gruden and kind of relating it to the Patriots is with Bill Belichick. I'll kind of read some stuff you guys are saying here real quick, and then we'll hop in. And I'll wrap it up here with these last few thoughts real quick. But appreciate all you guys, man. I can see the segment on my side. It wasn't black. Okay. All right. Appreciate that. Let's be honest with ourselves. What would we rather have had the last 20 years? Yeah, true. The Patriot way or the Raider way? No, I mean, you ain't lying. I don't want to hear Patriot way again, bro. Leave that with McDaniel's era. All right. Appreciate you, Gord. Thanks for tuning in. Try my best to get this last bit wrapped up. All right. So, someone had asked me about Amy Trask. I don't remember who it was. And she had said something. I'm going to pop in here. I'll probably get another strike. They're going to strike me until my freaking channel is completely abolished. Hold on a second. Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna play this. I know they're gonna freaking flag me, dude. They always fucking do it. Whatever. All right, I'm gonna play this. Maybe what if I do it differently? You should be able to do a live reaction. What if I make it smaller? We're going to do a live reaction of Amy Trask talking about Belichick and John Gruden back in the day. So listen closely. It's about 30 seconds long. And let's kind of hear what she says about that.
Brag about this a lot, and I don't think I'm ever going to stop. With the Raiders, almost 30 years, and in that 30-year period, only one time did Al involve me in a coaching search. And he had me meet every candidate he brought in and then give him my opinion when I was done. So I met with each candidate, one of whom was Bill Belichick. After all the interviews were done, Al says to me, "Which one would you hire?" And I was unequivocal, Bill Belichick. Al went on to hire John Gruden, at the time also a very good choice. I thought that story about how I recommended Bill would just remain between Al and me, and nobody would ever know about that. And he did something so kind.
All right, that's all I want to play. I'm already probably going to get flagged for that, but that was a little clip from Amy Trask. I appreciate what she did for the Raiders. Somebody asked about bringing her back, what I thought of her, whatever. I heard that a while back. It was a year ago or so, or a couple years ago, and I probably overthink everything. But when Amy Trask had said that she had wanted Bill Belichick and not John Gruden, and obviously Belichick and the Patriots went to win all these championships, and then the interesting thing is you have the whole tuck game thing, and she, like, when the whole thing went down with John Gruden, she was very, see how I can, like, the nicest way I can put this, because I do like Amy Trask, or I did. And I respect her and what she did for the Raiders, but she was very, like, kind of anti-Gruden, said he was a sexist and all this stuff, and Gruden wasn't nice to her. But let's be real about it, dude. She just, like, showed you her colors. She wanted Belichick. She never wanted John Gruden. She never wanted John Gruden to be a Raider from the get-go, man. So somewhere inside her, for whatever reason, I think she was bitter about the fact that, like, you know, the Patriots and Belichick won all these Super Bowls and Gruden, the Raiders, didn't. But let's not forget about the Tuck game and what happened with that and how it was like things split. But we literally almost hired Bill Belichick the first go around with John Gruden. So I'm not going to beat her up too much or whatever. To me, it is what it is. But she definitely wasn't like a diehard, hardcore John Gruden supporter. You know, I think when Gruden left, I think she told Al Davis not to let Gruden go or not to trade him. So I respect her for that. But there's probably some underlying things that she's like not necessarily stuck up for Gruden over the years, that she probably had some animosity towards Gruden as well. So that was interesting. You know, someone had asked me about her. I said her true colors came out, kind of thing. Some people will not like me saying that, but whatever. So one of the things I want to go back to is this article right here. When I said I want to precipice some things about Gruden. I know a lot of people talking about Gruden, but some things that I like, I want to try my best to keep my cool, but I want to talk about something that I think that's important. Okay. And it's this article right here. Change my picture. Okay. I should have done that earlier. All right. It's this article right here. And what this article is from April of 2019. Okay. It says Raiders GM Mike Mayock reveals why he sent scouts home before the NFL draft. I want to precipice this because, you know, there's a lot of people that are like kind of anti-Gruden and stuff. And for me, like, I feel like there are some good things that Gruden had done for the organization. One of them being is when Gruden had gone and said something about how there was, him and Mayock had said there was a lot of leaks in the Raiders organization. Okay. And I don't know how many of you guys remember that time frame of Oakland, but we were getting mad hate from the media. All the media was extremely negative on the Raiders, maybe rightfully so, because we sucked and we're leaving Oakland and they're pissed off. Okay. But there was a lot of things within the Raiders organization of people that have been part, like I'm talking from the scouts to people that have been with the Raiders for a long, long time, where when we had drama and issues or stuff that wasn't supposed to go outside the building, we were a sinking ship. Okay. The Raiders are a sinking ship, and we plug a hole and we plug a hole and we plug a hole. And next thing you know, there's somebody inside our organization that's on the other side of the boat poking holes in the fucking boat to sink the ship. So then we leave those holes that we just plugged. We go plug the other holes in our ship that's sinking. And then somebody goes and pokes holes on the other side of the ship. So we plug these holes and then we go back over there. And I say, the reason why I say this, because I personally believe this is important. That's a little tinfoil hat like, but it's actually not. If you guys go back all over the years, okay, with the Raiders, and when the news articles like bombshells will drop about the Raiders literally right before a game. I'm talking like John Gruden emails to Henry Ruggs. Well, that one wasn't maybe right before a game, but like Chandler Jones to even this year with Antonio Pierce, someone somewhere is purposely dropping bombshell news articles literally right before games. Someone in the organization was leaking information going back to Antonio Brown and the fee and that whole drama, stirring stuff up that was part of the silver and black organization. To the point where, if you guys remember back in 2019, how big a deal it was for Gruden and Mayock to let all the NFL scouts home, because information was leaking about who we wanted to draft to like literally everything. It was like everybody and their mother was telling everybody our game plan and what we were trying to do moving forward. So Gruden comes in, and I'm not trying to be an apologist for Gruden. So please understand, I'm trying my best, even though I'm pro Gruden, like I'm not trying to come at it from an angle where like he does no wrong. Okay. But I think it's important to understand some things in certain contexts, because we lose track of some of this shit, dude. We really do. And people be like, oh, well, it's old or whatever. It doesn't matter. No, it does matter, because going back to 2019, Gruden, or 2018 or whatever, Gruden comes in. Yeah, we get rid of Khalil Mack. We do the rebuild thing, right? but there was also information being leaked within the organization that if we were going to draft a certain player, to sign a certain player, to literally everything that we were trying to do or build, guess what? It was leaking out the fucking door, dude. We did not have a tight ship, man. We weren't like a unity. We had from media shills to everybody that was leaking information against this fucking team. Okay. And Gruden and Mayock get no credit for that. They get no credit or respect for what they were trying to do for the Raiders organization and how terrible some of this information was that was leaking out. All right. So I'll read some of this real quick. Raiders general manager Mike Mayock told scouts to head home to stay here heading into Easter weekend. He made the decision to do so 3 weeks ago. Mayock said it was his alone act that was well thought. All the team's pre-draft information has been gathered. It was time for head coach, final say, John Gruden and Mike Mayock to make decisions of those scouts would not be involved in. He was free to cut them loose. He did so Friday. Mayock didn't expect the news to be such a huge deal, especially considering he had reasons for doing so. I'm kind of blown away. Mike Mayock says, I'm kind of blown away the whole story. To be honest with you, Mayock said Thursday following first round of the 2019 draft. He decided to close ranks, prevent leaks from coming out of the building. He had been porous over the last calendar year, before and after he was hired as the Raiders general manager. Mike Mayock. I had made this decision to do it 3 weeks ago, and I didn't tell anybody, Mayock said. It was my decision, and when the job got done and work was over, I inherited a group of scouts, and some of them may be with us, and some of them may not be with us by their own choice or not. At the end of the day, when the job was over, I brought them together as a group respectfully, professionally, and told them the job was done. Thank you very much. And we would be talking. And so people would be like, dude, hardcore, this is so old. Who cares? Hold on a second, dude. Hold on a second. This does matter, because this is the whole context to the Raiders drafting bad, to COVID, to not being able to interview players. This whole thing fucking matters. We had to dump all the scouts and people that were in. Dude, it was so bad. If you guys remember back then, that John Gruden and Mike Mayock was making, they were making up information to figure out who was leaking information. Do you guys remember that? This is important, dude. Like, people will say, I don't care. It is important. Mike Mayock was creating fake rumors to see where the leaks were coming from in the building. You couldn't trust anybody. How are we going to be a winning fucking franchise when all of our information is leaking out of the guys that are supposed to bleed silver and black and be fucking Raiders, from our scouts to the media shills to everybody? Everybody's poking holes in the fucking ship, wanting us to fucking do terrible. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? This is what those guys had to fucking deal with. So before people run their fucking mouth about how dumb and, terrible Gruden and fucking Mayock did, let's keep shit in proper fucking context. That there was people that literally were supposed to be part of our team that wanted us to fucking fail. You do not leak information unless you want us to fail, or you're in it for the money and somebody on the outside is paying you for inside information. This is what we're talking about. This is like 007 James Bond type shit. And the coach that's supposed to bring us back and break the tuck rule has everything stacked against him. Not even the people behind the fucking silver and black doors were fucking for him. This is nuts to me, man. It's nuts to me that nobody remembers that shit. And from the guys like Vic Tafur, he never gave John Gruden any fucking credit. To the guys currently, Vinny Bonsignore, who came on once the Raiders moved to fucking Vegas, Vinny Bonsignore never gave John Gruden any respect. The whole fucking media shills, because that's what they are. The media shills are fucking paid to put out certain narratives. Just like the narrative being put out right now by Vinny B saying we need to hire Pete Carroll. I don't want fucking Pete Carroll, man. And when Gruden Mayock, that's 2019, leading up to the draft, right, in Vegas, okay? And then everything shut down with COVID. Remember, we were supposed to have the draft in Vegas, and you can't meet with anybody. Like, Mike Mayock and John Gruden were part of the hardest transition, which is moving us from Oakland to Vegas, and they had everything stacked against them. We get into Vegas, and they can't interview guys, anything else. And it's like, what the fuck, man? Nobody, I don't think they should get sympathy either. That's not what I'm fucking saying. but give them some fucking respect. They had everything stacked against them. They had to rebuild the entire fucking scout team that had been there. Some of those guys had been with the Raiders for a long time. I don't remember how long. I know 10, 15, some of them like 20 years. We had to get rid of them, man. They were all like a bunch of them were like snakes in the fucking grass, man. And so when we look at John Gruden and Mike Mayock and we all start running our mouths about them not being able to draft, let's keep some shit in proper fucking context of what they were up against. They had to reset the whole fucking thing, man. You can't blame them. You really can't. And if you can, I think you need to reanalyze how the whole making and the lead up to COVID to the fucking cards they were dealt were pretty fucking shitty, man. You know, if we're being real about it, we're pretty shitty. And I think with, you know, once we got past the Cleo Mack shit, took 2-3 years, we were starting to be a good fucking organization, dude. And we were going to be set up to win a lot of fucking games. And then what happens? They cancel our coach, the Henry Ruggs thing, and everything else. So here's my main point from all this shit, dude. And when Gruden came back, let's not forget, the last thing I'll play, it's like a 10-second video, was this one right here of what Belichick said about John Gruden and being back in the NFL. So this one, Gruden first came back to the Raiders the second time.
What are your thoughts on John coming back to coaching?
Yeah, I have a ton of respect for John. So, yeah, it's great to have him back as a coach.
Okay. So there it is, man. Even Bill Belichick said, like, I respect John Gruden as a coach, you know. Good to have him back in the NFL. I mean, he didn't say much more than that, but that was kind of Belichick's thoughts. So for Gruden to come back, like, you know, it would take a lot. I'll be honest, the stars would have to align. Do I want it? Yeah, I want it. I want my redemption for the fucking Tuck game. You know, I would love for the NFL and Gruden to cancel this lawsuit and let's figure out a way to make it work with John fucking Gruden and let this guy get our redemption and let us break the fucking Tuck curse. I think Gruden would have to come out and do an interview in front of everybody and, you know, pretty much state that, like, he wants to coach again. He wants to coach the Raiders again, and how sorry he is for the shit that he did in the emails or said, you know, and maybe people have forgotten about it or willing to forgive him. How many people would or wouldn't? I don't know. It'd be a lot of fucking drama, of course. But here's the thing about Gruden, guys. All it's going to take is this. John Gruden to get one interview with one NFL team. And I'm not even saying the Raiders. Once Gruden gets one interview with one NFL team as a head coach, the Gruden hype train begins. Then everybody's going to want John Gruden, you know? And that brings in, like, the Gruden lawsuit. Would Gruden be willing to tell the NFL, hey, I just want to coach. Cancel the fucking lawsuit. Just let me coach. You know, Gruden should want to coach the Raiders. But that's, you know, whether or not it would happen or the NFL would let it, I don't know. The other thing I think would have to happen for the stars to align for Gruden to be like the head coach of the Raiders is Gruden needs a big wig to come out like a Bill Belichick, you know, and almost vouch for him and say, you know what? The NFL should let Gruden be a head coach again because John Gruden is good for the NFL, just like he did when Gruden first came back, but good for the NFL, and he's a good coach, and, you know, it'd be great to see him back in the NFL. Gruden needs a big wig to come in and vouch for him, preferably a coach, but it could be a Rich Eisen. It could be somebody else like that. You know, Gruden spent his career studying the Patriots. Gruden always wanted to, like, lift up the skirt, and I kind of mentioned this last time, but briefly, Gruden always wanted to know what made the Patriots tick. You know, he was always trying to, like, duplicate their success of the Patriots so he could adopt it and implement that same philosophy to his own team one day. The other thing I think that would have to happen for the stars to align for Gruden is the other head coaching candidates they'd have to either be not available anymore or not impress Tom Brady. Meaning if John Gruden got an interview process with Tom Brady, John Gruden would have to knock the fucking socks off of Tom Brady, which there might be some animosity there because Gruden did not bring in Brady to be a Raider when Brady went to the Buccaneers, and Raiders had a chance and Gruden had a chance to do it. So, is Gruden going to take a backseat to Tom Brady, the guy that beat him in the Tuck game? I don't know. I think Gruden, Gruden loves football. I think Gruden respects Brady for his career and stuff. But would Gruden be able to humble himself and impress Tom Brady in an interview to try to be the coach of the Raiders? And then, and I think that's it. I mean, it's almost impossible. I mean, when I say the stars would have to align, I mean like literally everything. So, I got to head on out. I got to go get my boys from school. Sorry, guys, to cut it short. I wanted to see your guys' comments, but I'll go back and read it after this. But appreciate everybody, man. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe. Will John Gruden be the Raiders' next head coach? It's not looking good if you want that. A lot of things would have to happen. I would love for it to happen. I just think there's too much stacked against us, man. But, the Patriot way lives on. We went through it. Be ready for getting rid of some of your star-studded players, I would say, like a Max Crosby, and be ready for, Brady to throw a wrench and whatever we're thinking, because, we think we know the Patriot way or how Brady's thinking. I don't think we do. I think Brady's going to throw a wrench in this gears, and hopefully it's the right move, but we'll see. So much love, man. Appreciate you. You guys take care. There's only one nation. That's Raider Nation. Hark Raider out.